Evening, y'all. I am in my son's man cave. I guess you could see my reflection on the back of his guitar. It is the very last evening of 2019, and I felt I needed to do one more video for the year, even though I really don't have much else to say that hasn't already been said or that I've said. But I just wanted to come on here and say that God is faithful. He has been faithful and he will be faithful. And I was just thinking about how there have been so many times where I just wondered, Lord, how are you going to show me what to do in this situation? Or what are you going to do in a situation? And he always has made a way. He's always been faithful. He's always been enough. Many years ago, man, it's hard to believe it's been 30 years ago since my father died. 30 years. Wow. I'm older than my dad was. I'm older than my dad, which is very strange to think about. But I remember when he found out he was sick. He had it's called myelofibrosis. It's when the bone marrow turns into fibrous tissue. And the bone marrow is where your blood cells are manufactured. And he himself was a doctor, so he did a lot of research on it because it really wasn't much written about it. But I remember when I first found out he had this disease, and I knew in my heart, I knew that he wasn't going to be healed on this side. But before that, I remember as a child growing up, if anybody asked me what was the worst possible thing that could ever happen, if you could imagine, it would be if something happened to my dad. Well, the time came. And God's grace was enough. It was really hard, and sometimes it still is. I miss him so much. I miss my mom too. She died several years ago too. But my point is that his grace is always enough, even when you think I couldn't possibly be, I wouldn't be able to handle this situation. I wouldn't. How can people do that? And I just want to say, again, looking back on this year, and all of us have our great sorrows and our great joys and all the things that have happened this past year, and how God has been faithful. And his grace has always been sufficient. More than enough. And for this coming year, as we all, I think every year, what's going to happen this year? Jesus, are you going to come back? He may come back. There was a song written, I guess it was written in the 60s, but it was very popular in the 70s, I know that. And it was Because He Lives. And, that truth has become more and more precious to me. As a teenager, when I sang it, it was nice. But as you start seeing what the world is really like and how evil is, you start realizing how wonderful Jesus is. And because he lives, I can face tomorrow, no matter what comes. God sent his Son. They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal, and forgive. He bled and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Savior lives. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. Because I know he holds the future, and life is worth the living just because he lives. Happy New Year.